Welcome back to Game Tiered, a series where I review a game and tier list it at the end, adding to the tier list as the series continues. Today's game, Peggle, released by PopCap Games on Steam in 2007. Starting a new game, we meet our first Peggle master, Bjorn. I have no idea if I pronounced that name properly, but he teaches us how this game works. We need to shoot balls at blue pegs. Nothing special, just gives the player score and keeps the player from hitting orange pegs. When we hit all of the orange pegs, the level is completed. Then we get introduced to bricks that can be used to slide for a score bonus, and when we get a certain score with a single ball, we can get up to 3 more balls. What scores are needed? I don't know, I'm not that good at the game. The next level introduces us to green pegs, which when hit activates the Peggle Master's ability. In Bjorn's case, it's Super Guide, showing us the angle a ball will go when bouncing off of a surface. It's pretty useful for the player's first ability, showing the player what ricochet angles exist, helping the player be able to know where a ball will go no matter the character. The next world introduces us to Jimmy Lightning, who rides a skateboard and when hitting a green peg, it duplicates multi-ball. Duplicating the ball, letting us hit more orange pegs in a single turn, allowing us to more quickly build up our score multiplier as we hit more orange pegs. Which is good, because sometimes you need to use a ball to clear out blue pegs, so it's actually possible, or just significantly easier to hit oranges that you need to complete the level. But other times there's just not enough balls and you're forced to restart the level. World 3, where we meet Cat Tut. Hey, that's my last name. This kitty turns the ball into a pyramid, in theory making it easier for a ball to enter. But it doesn't stop us from completely missing any and all pegs, which causes a coin flip to happen, deciding if the game will give us our ball back. World 3 also introduces us to dynamic objects,
moving pegs,
or environment objects that need timing to ensure the ball will hit what you want. On to World 4, where Splorkin, an alien whose ability, Space Blast, makes an explosion when a green peg is hit, activating every peg and brick within its vicinity. For some reason during this, the game seemed to have sped up, and while you can speed up certain sections of the game with your alt fire, that speed normally doesn't happen after you've already shot. So I'm guessing this is either something of a bug or a glitch, or it's exclusive to this world. Maybe. I have no idea why, but it only happened on World 4, which is why I'm bringing that up now. The next world introduces us to Clawed Lobster. He turns Peggle into a pinball machine with his ability, Flippers, which I happen to really like pinball, so these levels were particularly fun for me. But there's not much else to add, sadly, so let's move on. The next Peggle Master we meet is Renfield Pumpkin. His world is super spooky, with his power even being named after it, Spooky Ball, which covers the ball pit, and when the ball falls to the bottom, it re-emerges at the top to hit more pegs and bricks, all the while spooky Halloween music plays. Should I just describe everything I can in this world as spooky? There's one spooky level in this spooky world that has spooky pieces of spooky environment that have spooky pegs under them. I'm not stopping. Making it spookily hard to hit them. Let's hope you paid attention when using Bjorn's spooky ability 5 spooky worlds ago. Also, this spooky ghost's spooky face is really spookin' funny to me, and it's so spooked. And I love it. This is the worst idea I've ever had. In the next world, we meet Tula Sunflower. God, what's next? Acid Cat? Oh wait, we already have a cat. Whatever, moving on. Anyway, Tula's ability, Flower Power, activates up to 5 orange pegs within its vicinity. It's kind of a worse version of Splork's ability. Oh my god, I completely forgot about purple pegs. Yes, I would have had a better segue earlier in the script, but I genuinely forgot they were a thing until way later into actually editing the video, so Here I am writing it into this part of the video because at this stage of making the video, it means I would have to re-edit and rename a bunch of files for workflow reasons that just aren't worth the effort that the side effects of such decisions would cause. Anyway, purple pegs give it more score than any other peg, always come from blue pegs, and change positions provided there are more than one blue peg on the board. Moving on, with World 8, where we meet Warren Rabbit. This world was extremely difficult, like consistently failing each level at least twice. And what makes things even worse is that when hitting a green peg, getting Warren's ability, Magic Hat, only has a random chance of activating. Because when you hit a green peg, it pulls up a spinner with 4 segments, all with different things, from the previously mentioned Magic Hat to every previous Peggle Master's ability to triple points and instantly getting an extra ball. And Magic Hat isn't even that useful. It increases the ball's range, kinda. Like when the hat hits a brick or peg, it activates it whether or not the ball itself hits it, if that makes sense, I think. I'm not 100% certain how this works. We're gonna move on. World 9, unlocking Lord Cinderbottom. Finally, someone with a name that isn't what they are. Only took us 9 worlds, excluding Bjorn and Jimmy Lightning. God damn it, moving on. Anyway, these levels have a lot of straight lines and blocked off oranges. Good thing Cinder's ability, Fireball, can move through any peg or brick and caps the ball pit and needs to be bounced off of first to have it land in the pit to get another ball, which is pretty smart. Makes it so you can't just aim straight for the ball pit to get a free ball. There was one kind of odd level in this world. It was a bunch of circles, which is great for sliding, but it's odd to me that it's here, where the ability is burning through everything it touches. I don't know, it struck me odd enough to mention here. Feels like it should have been in another world. Finally beating World 9, we meet our final Peggle Master, Master Who. His ability is probably my favorite from an easing of difficulty aspect. Zen Ball. Changing your next shot to get more points, I think? I don't know what the computer is valuing here, but that's my guess. It doesn't feel like it's valuing getting the most amount of orange pegs. Or maybe it's valuing getting another ball over getting another orange peg? Again, I have really no clue. Which makes sense, even though I said it doesn't, but regardless, it can be annoying when you know what you're doing and the game forces its hand and makes you hit something you didn't want to. I can definitely see this being something of a crutch. I think my favorite ability from a fun standpoint is Clawed Lobster's ability. You know, the pinball ability? God, I love pinball. Another thing this world introduces is portals, and god damn it, this orange is nearly impossible to get. I genuinely failed the level because of it. Retrying, I then hit a blue peg that was in the same spot with my first shot, god damn it. Finally, we beat the game. Kind of. There's still World 11 where we get to choose our Peggle Master. Some of the hardest levels in the game are here. Kind of. The only one that I can think of that gave me a genuinely difficult time was this one level where I couldn't properly bounce the ball off of this orb, and it happened twice. So dumb. But regardless, we beat the game. For realsies this time, and we got this Certificate of Excellence. Not much now, except for the challenges, which aren't really worth going into. It's mostly just levels having more oranges, or needing to clear the board entirely, or dueling with CPUs of increasing difficulty. Oh, yeah, dueling. This is a 2-player mode where you need to get the higher score by the end, but you don't get your points if you don't hit any oranges. It would be fun if it supported controllers, so you wouldn't need to switch seats every turn to use the mouse, or maybe online play, but if that was the case, I probably wouldn't have mentioned it. and it probably would have been shut down by now. Going back to challenges, there's also needing a certain score on top of getting the required orange pegs, and needing to beat more and more levels in a row, and there's also a new game plus where you play a random level with a master of your choice, or you can let the game decide. It's alright, I would prefer a bit more randomness than just a random level, but I can understand wanting to let the player be able to choose their master instead of constantly restarting the level to get a master that doesn't leave the game in an unwinnable state. I think a pretty good way of looking at this is when you beat the game, you unlock a free play mode with levels in a random order, but there's nothing extra in the levels to do that requires a character that you wouldn't normally play as, so it feels like it's just there so the game doesn't crash when you click adventure after beating the game. It's kinda underwhelming. This game isn't bad, but there's just not enough variety in the repetition for it to be as fun as other time-killing games. For that, I put Peggle in C tier. It feels weird putting this here, but to me it makes sense. As much as I say I like this game, I haven't really played it that much. And it is a fun game, but there's far better games to play when you're bored. But with that being said, yeah, take care everyone.